The unexpected ban on humans from alien casinos across the known universe sent shockwaves through Earth's diplomatic corps. Ryan Wells, a human diplomat stationed on Akamar Prime, stared at the urgent communique from Earth's government, his mind racing with the implications. The message was clear. Investigate the ban and its potential consequences for human-alien relations. Casino revenue formed a significant portion of Earth's interstellar trade income, and losing access could devastate the planet's economy. Ryan's fingers drummed on his desk as he processed the gravity of the situation. The Galactic Union's decision seemed abrupt and without precedent. He pulled up his communications terminal and arranged an immediate meeting with Pollux, an influential Akamarian casino owner. If anyone could shed light on this perplexing situation, it would be Pollux. Hours later, Ryan found himself escorted by armed Akamarian guards through the opulent corridors of Pollux's office complex. The guards' presence was unusual and unsettling, adding to the growing sense of unease in Ryan's gut. As they approached Pollux's office, the guards' grip on their weapons tightened, their compound eyes fixed on Ryan with a mixture of caution and disgust. Pollux, a tall, willowy alien with iridescent skin, greeted Ryan with a formal nod. "Diplomat Wells, I appreciate your prompt response to this delicate matter." Ryan took a seat across from Pollux, noting the distance the Akamarian maintained. "I'm here to understand the reasoning behind this ban, Pollux. Earth's economy is at stake." Pollux's skin shifted colors, a sign of discomfort in Akamarians. "The truth is, Diplomat Wells, we've discovered an alarming quirk in Akamarian biology. Human body odor acts as an intoxicant for our species." Ryan blinked, processing this unexpected revelation. "Intoxicant? You mean?" "Yes," Pollux confirmed, his voice tight. "Humans have been unknowingly exploiting this biological weakness, giving them an unfair advantage at gambling tables. The impact on our casinos has been substantial." The implications hit Ryan like a gravitational surge. This wasn't just about gambling, it was a potential diplomatic catastrophe. How widespread is this knowledge? Pollux's skin rippled with shades of deep purple. "It's caused an uproar among alien casino owners across the Galactic Union. Several major species are now questioning humanity's place in the Union, viewing humans as potential biological weapons." Ryan's mind raced, calculating the potential fallout. "Are there talks of further action against Earth?" Pollux nodded solemnly. "The Akamarian government has initiated discussions with other races about imposing trade restrictions on Earth. The situation is escalating rapidly." Ryan stood, his diplomat's training kicking in. He needed to act fast to prevent a full-scale diplomatic crisis. "I'll contact Earth's top xenobiologists immediately. We need to find a way to neutralize our body odor's effect on Akamarians." As Ryan prepared to leave, Pollux added, "I suggest you also arrange meetings with representatives from other alien races. Address their concerns directly. The future of human-alien relations may depend on it." Ryan nodded, the weight of Earth's future settling on his shoulders. As he left Pollux's office, escorted by the wary guards, he began formulating a plan. He would need all his diplomatic skills to navigate this crisis, balancing Earth's economic interests with the need to reassure their alien allies. The unexpected reason behind the casino ban had opened a Pandora's box of interstellar complications, and Ryan Wells found himself at the center of a storm that could reshape humanity's place in the galaxy. Ryan Wells wasted no time. As soon as he returned to his office, he initiated a secure transmission to Earth. Dr. Elena Saunders's face appeared on the screen, her expression a mixture of curiosity and concern. "Dr. Saunders, we have a situation that requires your immediate attention," Ryan said, his voice tense. He quickly outlined the crisis, watching as the xenobiologist's eyes widened with each new detail. "This is unprecedented," Dr. Saunders said, her mind already racing with possibilities. "I'll assemble my best team right away. We'll begin work on a neutralizing agent for human pheromones. But Ryan, I must warn you, this won't be a quick fix." Ryan nodded grimly. "I understand. Just do what you can as fast as you can. The fate of human-alien relations may depend on it." As soon as the call ended, Ryan's comm unit buzzed, It was time for his first diplomatic meeting. He straightened his tie and headed to the conference room where Zor-Tak, the Saurian representative, awaited. The reptilian diplomat's scales shimmered under the room's soft lighting. His vertical pupils narrowed as Ryan entered, a forked tongue flicking out to taste the air. "Diplomat Wells!" Zor-Tak hissed, his voice a low rasp. "I trust you understand the gravity of this situation." Ryan took a seat across from the Saurian. "I do, Representative Zor-Tak. That's why I've requested this meeting. I want to address your concerns directly." Zor-Tak's clawed hand tapped against the table. "The Saurian Confederacy is uneasy. This revelation about human pheromones, it raises questions about your species' true nature." Ryan leaned forward, maintaining eye contact. "I assure you, we had no knowledge of this effect. Humans have no intention of weaponizing our natural biology." The Saurian scales rippled, a sign of skepticism. "Perhaps, but intentions can change. The Confederacy is considering supporting trade restrictions against Earth. We must protect ourselves." Ryan felt a cold knot form in his stomach. He opened his mouth to respond, but his comm unit buzzed urgently. He glanced down and froze. The message from Earth's government flashed on the screen, detailing the attacks on human-owned businesses across alien worlds. Zor-Tak's eyes narrowed. "Troubling news, Diplomat Wells?" Ryan looked up, his mind racing. He couldn't hide this development. It would only breed more mistrust. There have been incidents, attacks on human businesses on several worlds. But I assure you, we're working to willpower this situation peacefully. The Saurian leaned back, his tail swishing. "It seems the situation escalates even as we speak. Perhaps the calls for human expulsion are not without merit." Ryan felt the conversation slipping away from him. He needed a bold move, something to shift the narrative. An idea formed, risky but potentially game-changing. "Representative Zor-Tak, I propose a demonstration," Ryan said, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "A public event to prove that humans are not a threat. I'll personally interact with Akamarian volunteers while wearing a neutralizing device our scientists are developing." Zor-Tak's eyes widened slightly, the first sign of genuine interest he'd shown. "A bold proposal, Diplomat Wells. But will the Akamarians agree?" It took hours of negotiations, but Ryan secured reluctant permission from the Akamarian authorities. As preparations for the demonstration began, he received updates from Dr. Saunders. Her team worked around the clock, developing a prototype neutralizing device. The day of the demonstration arrived. A diverse crowd of aliens gathered in a large open plaza. Security was tight, with Akamarian guards stationed at every entry point. Ryan stood on a raised platform, the experimental device attached to his chest. He could feel the weight of countless eyes on him as he approached a group of Akamarian volunteers. At first, the volunteers swayed slightly, their compound eyes dilating, clear signs of intoxication. But as Ryan moved closer, their symptoms began to subside. A murmur of surprise rippled through the crowd. Ryan allowed himself a small smile. It was working. He turned to address the audience, ready to declare the demonstration a success. But then a commotion erupted behind him. One of the Akamarian volunteers staggered, then collapsed to the ground. The plaza erupted in chaos. Medics rushed forward as the other aliens backed away, their voices rising in alarm and accusation. "Murderer!" someone shouted. "It was a trap!" Before Ryan could protest, Akamarian security forces surrounded him. He caught a glimpse of Zor-Tak's face in the crowd, a mixture of shock and vindication in the Saurian's eyes. Then Ryan was whisked away, the cries of the crowd fading as he was rushed to the human embassy. Hours later, Ryan sat in his office, effectively under house arrest. His comm unit buzzed constantly with messages from Earth, demanding explanations and updates. The diplomatic situation had deteriorated rapidly, with more alien races calling for sanctions against humanity. Ryan buried his face in his hands, the weight of failure pressing down on him. He had tried to fix things, and instead had made them exponentially worse. Now, not only was Earth facing economic ruin, but humans across the galaxy were in danger. A soft chime interrupted his thoughts. Ryan looked up, frowning. It wasn't the sound of his official comm unit. He noticed a small, blinking light on his personal datapad, an encrypted message. With a sense of trepidation, Ryan opened the message. His eyes widened as he read, "The casino ban is not what it seems. The volunteers' collapse was no accident. Powerful forces are manipulating events. If you want the truth, meet me at Docking Bay 7, Level 3, at midnight. Come alone. This may be your only chance to save humanity's place in the galaxy." Ryan stared at the message, his mind whirling. Could he trust this mysterious informant? Leaving the embassy would be risky, possibly illegal in his current situation. But staying put meant watching helplessly as human-alien relations crumbled. He looked out the window at the alien cityscape, its strange architecture glittering in the night. Somewhere out there, the truth waited. Ryan checked the time. He had 2 hours to decide whether to take the biggest gamble of his diplomatic career and possibly of his life. He glanced at the clock. 1 hour and 45 minutes until midnight. Ryan's heart raced as he weighed his options. The risks were enormous, but the potential payoff could save humanity's place in the galaxy. With a deep breath, he made his decision. Slipping on a nondescript jacket, Ryan activated the embassy's hidden emergency exit. The panel slid open silently, revealing a narrow passageway. He stepped inside, the door sealing behind him with a soft hiss. The tunnel emerged in an abandoned maintenance corridor. Ryan moved swiftly, keeping to the shadows. The alien cityscape of Akamar Prime sprawled before him, a maze of towering structures and winding alleys. He stuck to less-traveled routes, his diplomatic training kicking in as he blended with the sparse night crowds. As he approached Docking Bay 7, Ryan's senses heightened. Every shadow could conceal a threat, every passerby a potential enemy. He arrived at the designated level, scanning for any signs of a trap. A figure emerged from behind a stack of crates. Ryan tensed, ready to flee, but the being raised its hands in a gesture of peace. As it stepped into the dim light, Ryan saw it was an Akamarian female. "Diplomat Wells," she said, her compound eyes reflecting the bay's emergency lighting. "I'm Zyla. We don't have much time." Ryan nodded, still wary. "What's this about? Who are you, really?" Zyla's iridescent skin rippled with urgency. "I worked for Pollux in his casino empire. What I discovered there, it changes everything." She produced a data chip, offering it to Ryan. "The casino ban, the supposed discovery of human pheromones affecting us, it's all a lie, a massive conspiracy." Ryan's mind reeled as Zyla laid out the truth. The casino owners had known about the pheromone effect for years, secretly exploiting it to create addiction hotspots in their establishments. The ban was a smokescreen, meant to divert attention from their unethical practices. "The volunteer who collapsed during your demonstration," Zyla continued, her voice low, "it wasn't your device. They dosed him with a stimulant to ensure failure." Ryan's fist clenched as the implications sank in. "Do you have proof?" Zyla nodded towards the chip in his hand. "Everything's there. Financial records, internal memos, security footage. It's all the evidence you need to expose them." A distant clang echoed through the bay. Zyla stiffened. "You need to go. They're looking for both of us now." Ryan pocketed the chip, his mind already racing with next steps. "Thank you, Zyla. This could save us all." She melted back into the shadows as Ryan made his way out of the docking bay. His first priority was verifying the information. He activated his secure comlink, connecting to Dr. Elena Saunders back on Earth. "Elena," he said as soon as her face appeared, "I'm sending you some data. I need you to analyze it immediately. If it's genuine, it could change everything." Dr. Saunders nodded, her expression grim. "I'll get my team on it right away. Be careful, Ryan. This sounds bigger than we imagine." With the data in trusted hands, Ryan moved to his next task. He composed an encrypted message to Marcus Hawthorne, a veteran human ambassador he'd worked with for years. Marcus, we have a situation. Need your help arranging a confidential meeting with key alien representatives. Possible conspiracy uncovered. We'll explain more soon. Urgency cannot be overstated. As Ryan waited for responses, he became acutely aware of his surroundings. The hairs on the back of his neck stood up. Twice he caught glimpses of shadowy figures ducking out of sight. His pace quickened. Pollux' agents were on his trail. Ryan's mind raced as he formulated a plan. The evidence was compelling, but he needed more. Something concrete that the Galactic Union couldn't ignore. His eyes fell on a holographic advertisement for Pollux' main casino, its gaudy lights a beacon in the night. A daring idea took shape. If he could infiltrate the casino, he might find the devices used to amplify human pheromones. With physical evidence in hand, even the most skeptical alien races would have to listen. Ryan ducked into a narrow alley, using the cover to change his appearance. He pulled a hooded cloak from his pack, obscuring his features. With a deep breath, he stepped back onto the street, heading towards the heart of the entertainment district. Pollux' casino loomed ahead, a towering structure of glass and light. Ryan's pulse quickened as he approached. He had no illusions about the danger. If caught, he faced not just personal ruin, but potentially doomed humanity standing in the galaxy. As he neared the entrance, Ryan's comm unit buzzed. A message from Dr. Saunders flashed across the screen. Data verified. It's authentic. What you've uncovered, it's explosive, Ryan. Be careful. With rekindled persistence, Ryan stepped through the casino's ornate doors. The cacophony of games and excited chatter washed over him. Acamarians and other alien species crowded around tables and machines, their faces lit by the glow of holograms and flashing lights. Ryan moved carefully through the throng, his senses on high alert. He needed to find a way into the restricted areas where the pheromone amplification devices were likely hidden. As he scanned the room, he noticed subtle differences in the behavior of Acamarians in certain areas. They seemed more agitated, more reckless in their gambling. He was so focused on his observations that he almost missed the security guard approaching him. Ryan's heart raced as the guard's hand reached for his shoulder. He prepared to run, knowing that discovery now could unravel everything. Just as the guard's fingers were about to make contact, a commotion erupted at a nearby table. A group of Saurians were accusing an Acamarian of cheating. The guard turned, distracted by the potential altercation. Ryan seized the opportunity, slipping away into the crowd. He spotted a service door partially hidden behind a row of gaming machines. With a quick glance to ensure no one was watching, he made his move. The door opened with a soft click, revealing a narrow corridor lined with pipes and control panels. Ryan moved swiftly, knowing his window of opportunity was limited. He needed to find evidence of the pheromone amplification technology and get out before security realized he was here. As he rounded a corner, voices drifted from an open doorway ahead. Ryan pressed himself against the wall, straining to listen. What he heard made his blood run cold. "The human diplomat is becoming a problem," a gravelly voice said. "If he exposes our operation, we stand to lose billions." "Then we eliminate the problem," another voice replied. "Permanently." Ryan's mind raced. The conspiracy ran deeper than he'd imagined, and now his life was in immediate danger. He needed to find the evidence quickly and get out, but as he prepared to move, a shadow fell across him. "Well, well," a familiar voice said. "What do we have here?" Ryan turned slowly, coming face to face with Pollux himself. The Acamarian casino owner's skin rippled with shades of triumph and menace. "I'm afraid, Diplomat Wells," Pollux said, his voice silky smooth, "that you've just made your last unfortunate gamble." Behind Pollux, two burly security guards raised their weapons. Ryan's hand inched towards the hidden pocket where he'd stored Xyla's data chip. He had one chance to turn the tables, but the odds were stacked against him. As the guards advanced, Ryan knew his next move would determine not just his fate, but the future of human-alien relations throughout the galaxy. Galaxy. Ryan's mind raced. He had to act fast. In one fluid motion, he pulled out the data chip and held it up. "Before you do anything rash, Pollux, you should know that I've already transmitted this evidence to my colleagues. If anything happens to me, it goes public. Pollux's skin rippled with uncertainty. You're bluffing! Am I? Ryan locked eyes with the casino owner. Are you willing to take that risk? A tense silence stretched between them. Finally, Pollux waved a hand, and the guards lowered their weapons. What do you want? A chance to present my case, Ryan said, to you and the other casino owners. If I'm wrong, you lose nothing. But if I'm right, we can work together to fix this before it explodes in all our faces. Pollux considered for a long moment, then nodded. You have 1 hour. Make it count. Ryan spent the next 58 minutes in a secure conference room, laying out everything he had learned. He watched Pollux's expression shift from skepticism to shock as the evidence mounted. This goes beyond just the casinos, Pollux said finally, his voice hollow. If this gets out, it could destabilize the entire Galactic Union. Ryan leaned forward. Then help me make it right. We can still salvage this situation, but I need your cooperation. As they hammered out a plan, Ryan discreetly sent a message to Marcus Hawthorne. Meeting arranged. Key players involved. Need Galactic Union representatives ASAP. The next few hours passed in a blur. Ryan worked tirelessly, coordinating with Dr. Elena Saunders to verify and analyze the data. Her team worked through the night, confirming the authenticity of Zyla's information. It's all true, Ryan. Elena's voice crackled over the secure line. The pheromone manipulation, the cover-up, everything. This is bigger than we imagined. With the evidence in hand, Ryan prepared for the most crucial meeting of his career. Marcus Hawthorne had come through, arranging a clandestine gathering of key alien representatives from the Galactic Union. As Ryan entered the nondescript conference room, he felt the weight of countless lives on his shoulders. Aliens from a dozen different species sat around the table, their expressions ranging from curiosity to outright hostility. Gentlemen, Ryan began, his voice steady, what I'm about to share with you will change everything you thought you knew about the casino ban and human-alien relations. For the next 2 hours, Ryan presented the evidence. He watched as shock, anger, and disbelief rippled through the room. When he finished, a Saurian representative was the first to speak. If this is true, it represents a breach of trust on an unprecedented scale, the alien said, his scaled skin flushed with anger. An Acamarian diplomat nodded in agreement. We must launch a full investigation immediately. As the representatives debated their next move, Ryan's communicator buzzed. A message from Zyla. Security sweeping the casino. They know someone accessed restricted areas. Be careful. Ryan excused himself, his mind racing. He needed to get back to the casino to find physical evidence of the pheromone amplification devices. It was a risk, but having tangible proof would solidify their case. Under the cover of night, Ryan made his way back to Pollux's casino. Using forged maintenance credentials provided by Zyla, he slipped into the restricted areas. The corridors were a maze of pipes and control panels, each turn bringing the risk of discovery. As he navigated the labyrinth, Ryan's ears caught snippets of conversation. Security personnel were on high alert, searching for an intruder. He pressed himself against a wall, heart pounding, as a group of guards passed by. Finally, Ryan found what he was looking for. A hidden door, concealed behind an innocuous-looking control panel, led to a room humming with advanced technology. Inside, he discovered the pheromone amplifiers, sleek devices that pulsed with an eerie blue light. Ryan quickly documented everything with a concealed recording device, capturing images of the amplifiers and the detailed usage logs displayed on nearby screens. As he worked, he uncovered something even more shocking, evidence linking Pollux to a wider conspiracy involving officials from multiple alien races. Just as Ryan finished gathering the evidence, a shrill alarm pierced the air. He had triggered a silent security system. Cursing under his breath, Ryan bolted from the room. The casino floor became a chaotic blur as Ryan weaved through the crowd, security hot on his heels. He used his knowledge of human pheromones to his advantage, deliberately passing through areas where Acamarians were gathered. The sudden influx of pheromones created confusion among his pursuers. buying him precious seconds. Ryan's lungs burned as he sprinted through the neon-lit corridors. He could hear the heavy footfalls of security guards closing in. Just as he thought all was lost, a hand grabbed his arm, pulling him into a hidden alcove. It was Zyla, her compound eyes gleaming in the dim light. "This way!" she hissed, revealing a hidden passage behind a holographic wall. They emerged in a back alley, the sounds of pursuit fading behind them. Zyla led Ryan through a series of winding streets to a safe house. As they caught their breath, she explained that she was part of an underground resistance movement, fighting against corrupt casino owners. "You've done it," Zyla said, her voice filled with a mixture of awe and relief. "With this evidence, we can finally bring them down." As Ryan began to relax, a sharp pain lanced through his side. In the chaos of the escape, he hadn't noticed the injury, a deep gash from a close encounter with a security barrier. Zyla helped him tend to the wound as reports began flooding in. The news of the conspiracy was spreading like wildfire across the galaxy. Protesters who had once called for human expulsion were now demanding justice for the casino owner's deception. Ryan's communicator lit up with a message from Marcus Hawthorne. "Galactic Union in uproar. Independent commission being formed to investigate. You've done it, Ryan." As he lay recovering in the safe house, Ryan knew that exposing the conspiracy was only the beginning. The political fallout would be immense, and Pollux and his allies wouldn't go down without a fight. Reports of retaliatory actions against those involved in exposing the truth began to surface. Ryan realized he needed to act quickly to consolidate their gains and protect those who had helped him. With Zyla's assistance, Ryan began formulating a new plan. He would leverage the shifting public opinion and the support of sympathetic alien races to propose a bold initiative, a joint human-alien task force to reform the casino industry and develop ethical guidelines for interspecies interactions. As he worked on the proposal, another piece of good news arrived. Dr. Elena Saunders had made a breakthrough in neutralizing the effect of human pheromones on Acamarians. This development could be the key to fully reintegrating humans into alien society and preventing future exploitation. But even as hope blossomed, a new threat loomed on the horizon. Intelligence reports suggested that Pollux, now cornered and desperate, was rallying his remaining allies for one last attempt to discredit Ryan and the evidence against him. Ryan's fingers flew over the holographic keyboard as he refined his proposal. Time was running out, and the fate of human-alien relations hung in the balance. He knew that his next moves would determine not just his own future, but the place of humanity in the galactic community for generations to come. Ryan's fingers paused over the holographic keyboard as his communicator buzzed insistently. A message from Marcus Hawthorne flashed across the screen, its urgency palpable even through the text. "Ryan, we've hit a snag. Pollux and his cronies are stonewalling the investigation. We need to move fast." Ryan's lips pursed as he absorbed the implications. The conspiracy they'd worked so hard to expose was in danger of being buried under a mountain of bureaucratic red tape and political maneuvering. He knew they needed a bold move to keep the momentum going. As if on cue, another message pinged through, this time from Dr. Elena Saunders. "Breakthrough achieved. Pheromone neutralization technology ready for field testing." A plan began to form in Ryan's mind. He quickly typed out a response to both Marcus and Elena, his fingers flying over the keys despite the lingering pain in his side from his recent injury. "Meet me at the safe house in 1 hour. I have an idea." 58 minutes later, Ryan stood before a holographic display, outlining his proposal to Marcus, Elena, and Zyla. The aliens' compound eyes reflected the shifting light as Ryan spoke. "We need to go public in a big way," Ryan explained, gesturing to a map of Akamar Prime. "A large-scale demonstration of the neutralizing technology. We'll invite representatives from every major alien race, along with media outlets from across the galaxy." Elena nodded, her eyes bright with excitement. "It's risky, but it could work. We've had excellent results in controlled settings." "What about security?" Marcus asked, his brow furrowed. "Pollux won't take this lying down." Ryan turned to Zyla. That's where your resistance contacts come in. We'll need eyes and ears everywhere. As they hammered out the details, Ryan's communicator chirped again. A message from one of Xyla's informants scrolled across the screen. Pollux meeting with high-ranking GU officials. Location: abandoned warehouse, Sector 7. Ryan's pulse quickened. Change of plans. I need to check this out personally. Despite protest from the others, Ryan suited up. He slipped a small, high-tech recording device into his pocket, a gift from Xyla's resistance group. Keep working on the demonstration plans, he instructed. I'll be back soon. The abandoned warehouse loomed before Ryan, its dilapidated exterior a stark contrast to the sleek buildings surrounding it. He crouched behind a stack of rusted crates, watching as a group of well-dressed aliens entered through a side door. Ryan waited for Xyla's diversion, a staged altercation between two of her operatives nearby. As shouts filled the air, he made his move, slipping inside the warehouse and navigating through dim corridors. He found the meeting room and carefully placed the recording device near an air vent. Pollux's gravelly voice drifted through the thin walls. Gentlemen, I assure you your cooperation will be generously rewarded. All you need to do is ensure this little investigation goes nowhere. Ryan's fists clenched as he listened to the blatant bribery taking place. He was so focused on the conversation that he almost missed the sound of approaching footsteps. Ducking into an alcove, he held his breath as a guard passed by. Once the coast was clear, Ryan retrieved the recording device and made his way out of the warehouse. His heart pounded as he slipped back into the night, clutching the evidence that could blow the case wide open. Back at the safe house, Ryan played the recording for the team. Marcus's face grew grim as he listened. This is damning stuff, Ryan, but we need to move carefully. If we go public too soon, Pollux might find a way to discredit it. Agreed, Ryan said. We use this to clean house quietly. Replace the compromised officials with people we trust. Meanwhile, we push forward with the public demonstration. The next few days passed in a blur of activity. Ryan coordinated with Xyla's resistance to set up security for the event, while Elena fine-tuned the neutralizing devices. Marcus worked his diplomatic channels, discreetly removing the officials implicated in Pollux's scheme. As the day of the demonstration arrived, Ryan stood at the entrance to the massive event hall, his heart racing. Hundreds of aliens from dozens of species filed in, their curious gazes fixed on the human in their midst. The demonstration began smoothly. Humans and Acamarians mingled, their interactions carefully monitored by Elena and her team. The neutralizing devices hummed softly, keeping the pheromone levels stable. Ryan moved through the crowd, shaking hands and answering questions. He was so engrossed in a conversation with a Saurian diplomat that he almost missed the commotion near the refreshment area. A group of event staff were huddled around one of the neutralizing device control panels. Ryan's instincts kicked in, and he quickly made his way over. As he got closer, he recognized one of the staff members, a known associate of Pollux. "Hey!" Ryan called out, breaking into a run. "Step away from that panel!" The saboteurs scattered, but Ryan managed to grab one. Security swarmed the area as Ryan grappled with the alien. In the chaos, he felt a sharp pain as his opponent's clawed hand raked across his arm. Despite the injury, Ryan held on. With the help of security, he subdued the saboteur. As the alien was led away, Ryan turned to face the stunned crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, his voice carrying across the suddenly silent hall, "what you've just witnessed was an attempt to sabotage this demonstration, an attempt that failed, thanks to the diligence of our security team and the effectiveness of Dr. Saunders's neutralizing technology." A murmur rippled through the crowd as news cameras zoomed in on Ryan's face. He could almost feel the story spreading across the galaxy in real time. In the days that followed, the fallout was immense. The thwarted sabotage attempt, combined with the success of the neutralizing technology, shifted public opinion dramatically. The ban on humans in alien casinos was lifted, and Ryan's proposed joint task force gained widespread support. As Ryan prepared to take on his new role leading the initiative, he received a troubling report. Pollux had vanished from Akamar Prime, likely fleeing to some lawless corner of the galaxy. Standing at the window of his new office in the Galactic Union headquarters, Ryan gazed out at the stars. He knew that somewhere out there, Pollux was plotting his revenge. The disgraced casino owner's escape presented a new challenge, one that could threaten the fragile peace they had worked so hard to achieve. Ryan turned back to his desk, his mind already racing with potential strategies to track down the fugitive. As he began to outline a plan, he knew that the adventure was just the beginning. The hunt for Pollux would take him to the furthest reaches of the galaxy, testing not only his skills as a diplomat, but his determination as a protector of the new human-alien alliance. Ryan's fingers flew across the holographic keyboard as he coordinated the latest leads in the manhunt for Pollux. The fugitive's trail had gone cold, but Ryan refused to let that deter him. He'd built an extensive network of informants across dozens of alien worlds, leveraging the newfound goodwill towards humans to gather intelligence. A ping from his communicator caught his attention. It was a message from one of his contacts in the Zeta Reticuli system, a remote region known for its lax regulations. Ryan's eyes widened as he read the report detailing a series of suspicious financial transactions. This could be it, he muttered, quickly assembling a small team for a covert mission. Zyla was his first choice, her compound eyes gleaming with excitement as he briefed her on the operation. The Akamarian's knowledge of casino operations would be invaluable. "We'll need muscle too," Zyla pointed out. Ryan nodded, reaching out to Jack Hawkins, a human ex-military officer renowned for his tactical prowess. Within hours, their disguised transport ship was cutting through the void towards Zeta Reticuli. Ryan stood at the viewport, watching the stars streak by. "Remember," he addressed his team, "we're traders looking for new opportunities. Nothing more." As they approached their destination, a massive structure loomed before them, dwarfing their vessel. It was a space station, its exterior adorned with pulsing neon lights and holographic advertisements. "That's not on any official star charts," Jack muttered, his hand instinctively moving to his concealed weapon. They docked without incident, stepping into a world of noise and flashing lights. The station was a hive of activity, with aliens of all descriptions moving about. The air was thick with the scent of exotic foods and the faint tang of ozone from malfunctioning electronics. Ryan's nostrils flared as he caught a whiff of something familiar. "They're using outdated pheromone tech," he whispered to Zyla. "Be on guard." The team split up, gathering intel under the guise of seeking business opportunities. Ryan found himself at a bar, nursing a luminescent drink as he eavesdropped on nearby conversations. A group of saurians at a nearby table caught his attention. "The bosses are getting nervous," one hissed. "Too much heat from the Union." Ryan casually shifted closer, his heart racing. This could be the break they needed. Hours later, the team regrouped in their secure quarters. The evidence was damning, a complex money laundering operation that bore all the hallmarks of Pollux's involvement. "But something's not right," Zyla said, her antennae twitching. "These protocols, they're too sophisticated for Pollux." Jack nodded grimly. "We need to dig deeper." Their investigation led them to a heavily encrypted terminal in a restricted area of the station. As Ryan worked to bypass the security, his blood ran cold. The data pointed to the involvement of an unknown alien species, referred to only as the Shadows. "They've been manipulating us all along," Ryan breathed, his pupils dilating. "The casino incident, the tensions between humans and aliens, it was all orchestrated." Before they could process this revelation, alarms blared throughout the station. Their cover was blown. "Move!" Jack shouted, drawing his weapon as security forces converged on their position. They fought their way through the station's winding corridors, the air filled with the sizzle of energy weapons and the shouts of their pursuers. Ryan's mind raced, knowing they needed to get this information out. They battled their way to a communication array. Ryan's fingers danced over the controls, transmitting a distress signal and the crucial data to the nearest Galactic Union outpost. The transmission cut off midstream as the station's systems locked down. "Did it go through?" Zyla asked, her voice tight with tension. I don't know, Ryan admitted. We need to assume it didn't. We have to get this information out ourselves. They pressed on towards the docking bay, Jack's military experience proving invaluable as he coordinated their defense. Zyla's intimate knowledge of casino layouts helped them navigate the labyrinthine station. In a stroke of luck, they stumbled upon a sleek shuttle in a restricted docking area. As they prepared to board, a familiar figure stepped out of the shadows. "Pollux!" Ryan growled, raising his weapon. The disgraced casino owner held up his hands. "Wait, you don't understand. I was used, just like you." In the distance, they could hear the approaching security forces. Ryan made a split-second decision. "Get in," he ordered Pollux. "You're coming with us." They barely cleared the docking clamps when the bay doors began to close. Ryan piloted the shuttle through the narrowing gap, scraping the hull as they escaped into open space. "Multiple contacts on our 6, Jack reported, monitoring the sensors. "They're in pursuit." Ryan pushed the shuttle to its limits, weaving through asteroid fields and solar storms in an attempt to shake their pursuers. But their stolen vessel was outgunned and alone in unfamiliar territory. As energy blasts rocked their small craft, Ryan knew they were running out of options. They needed to find a way to contact the Galactic Union, to warn them about the shadows and their grand manipulation. With pursuers closing in and their location unknown to potential allies, Ryan and his team found themselves in a desperate race against time. The fate of human-alien relations and the stability of the entire Galactic Union now hinged on their ability to survive and expose the truth about this new hidden threat. The fate of human-alien relations and the stability of the entire Galactic Union now hinged on their ability to survive and expose the truth about this new hidden enemy. Ryan's hands flew over the shuttle's controls, executing a series of evasive maneuvers as energy blasts from their pursuers lit up the space around them. The stolen vessel shuddered under the assault, its shields flickering dangerously. "Jack, I need some cover fire!" Ryan shouted over his shoulder. Without a word, Jack slid into the weapon station, his fingers dancing across the unfamiliar alien interface. Within seconds, the shuttle's rear cannons roared to life, spitting out a barrage of energy bolts that forced their attackers to break formation. Zyla leaned over Ryan's shoulder, her compound eyes rapidly processing the star map on the nav screen. "There's an asteroid field at coordinates 227 Mark IV, she said, her antennae twitching with excitement. "If we can make it there, we might lose them in the debris." Ryan nodded, pushing the shuttle's engines to their limit as he set a course for the asteroid field. The G-forces pressed them into their seats as the stars blurred around them. In the rear of the shuttle, Pollux sat hunched over, his once pristine suit now rumpled and stained. Ryan caught the former casino owner's eye in the reflection of the view screen. "Start talking, Pollux," Ryan demanded, his voice hard. "What do you know about these shadows?" Pollux's shoulders sagged. I never dealt with them directly. They approached me through intermediaries, offering to bankroll my expansion into new markets. I didn't ask questions. I should have." "And the sabotage attempt at the demonstration?" Ryan pressed. "Their idea," Pollux admitted. "They wanted to keep humans isolated, easy to manipulate. I just played along, thinking it would protect my business interests." A warning klaxon blared as a lucky shot from their pursuers grazed the shuttle's hull. Ryan cursed under his breath, wrestling with the controls to keep them on course. "We're entering the asteroid field," Zyla announced, her voice tense. The view outside the shuttle transformed into a chaos of tumbling rocks and swirling dust. Ryan's world narrowed to the task of keeping them alive, weaving through gaps barely wider than their vessel, feeling the scrape of stone against their hull more than once. "There's something else," Jack called out from the weapons station. "I'm picking up some kind of energy signature. It's cloaking us?" Ryan risked a glance at the sensor readouts. Sure enough, their shuttle's energy signature was fading from the scopes. "Must be some kind of experimental stealth tech," he muttered. "Let's hope it holds." For several tense minutes, they flew in silence, the only sound the occasional scrape of an asteroid against their hull. Gradually, the pings of enemy weapons fire grew more distant and sporadic. "I think we've lost them," Zyla said, her antennae relaxing slightly. Ryan nodded, allowing himself a small sigh of relief. "Jack, see if you can get a secure channel to Marcus. We need to warn him about the shadows." As Jack worked to establish the connection, Ryan turned to face Pollux. "I need everything you know about the shadows. Their operations, their contacts, everything." Pollux nodded, his face pale but determined. "I'll tell you what I know, but it's not much. They're careful, always working through intermediaries. But I did overhear something about infiltrating various alien governments. They're playing a long game, manipulating species against each other." Before Ryan could press for more details, the stealth system failed with a shower of sparks from an overhead panel. Almost immediately, their pursuers reappeared on the sensors, closing fast. "We've got company!" Jack shouted, swinging the weapons around to face the incoming threat. Ryan's hands flew over the controls, pushing the damaged shuttle to its limits as they emerged from the asteroid field. Energy blasts lit up the space around them, several finding their mark and rocking the small vessel violently. "Engines are hit!" Zyla called out, her voice tight with tension. "We're losing power fast!" Ryan's eyes darted across the sensor readings, looking for any option. A small, rocky planet loomed ahead, its surface a maze of canyons and mountains. "Everyone strap in," Ryan ordered, angling the failing shuttle towards the planet's atmosphere. "This landing's going to be rough." The shuttle shook violently as they entered the atmosphere, pieces of the hull tearing away in their fiery descent. Ryan fought the controls, trying to find a suitable landing site in the treacherous terrain below. With a bone-jarring impact, the shuttle slammed into a rocky plateau, skidding across the barren ground before coming to a stop at the edge of a deep ravine. For a moment, silence reigned as dust and smoke filled the air around them. Ryan shook his head to clear it, quickly assessing their situation. "Everyone okay?" A chorus of groans answered him as his team slowly extricated themselves from their seats. Outside, the whine of enemy engines could be heard growing closer. "We need to move," Ryan said, his mind already racing with possibilities. "Jack, can you set up some diversions here at the shuttle?" Jack nodded grimly, already pulling equipment from a storage locker. "I'll give them something to think about." "Good. Zyla, Pollux, you're with me. We need to find a defensible position." Ryan led them out of the shuttle, scanning the rocky landscape. A jagged mountain range rose in the distance, offering potential shelter. As they set off across the uneven terrain, Ryan's mind whirled with plans and contingencies. The shadows had manipulated them all, playing species against each other for their own mysterious ends. Now, stranded on this desolate world with enemies closing in, Ryan knew that exposing the truth about this hidden threat might be their only hope for survival, and the key to uniting the galaxy against a common enemy. The race against time had begun, with the fate of human-alien relations hanging in the balance. As they pressed on towards the mountains, Ryan couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the verge of uncovering something far bigger than they had ever imagined. As they crested a rocky outcropping, the distant whine of pursuit crafts grew louder. "We need to find cover," Ryan said, scanning the barren landscape. His eyes landed on a narrow crevice in the mountainside ahead. "There. We can lose them in those caves." They scrambled down the rocky slope, loose stones skittering beneath their feet. Jack's voice crackled over their comms. "Diversion set! I'm on my way to your position!" As they reached the cave entrance, a series of explosions rocked the plateau where they had crash-launched. Ryan allowed himself a grim smile. Jack's handiwork would buy them precious time. Inside the cave, darkness enveloped them. Zyla's bioluminescent antennae cast an eerie glow on the rough stone walls. Ryan activated a small light on his wrist device, revealing a twisting network of tunnels stretching into the mountain's depths. "We need to warn the Galactic Union," Ryan said, his voice echoing in the confined space. "Pollux, you said the shadows were infiltrating alien governments. How deep does this go?" Pollux's face was a mask of regret in the dim light. Deeper than I ever imagined. They have operatives in every major species' political structure. The Saurians, the Arcturians, even the Galactic Union itself. Ryan's mind raced with the implications. The shadows had been playing a long game, manipulating species against each other from the shadows. Their discovery had the potential to reshape the entire galactic political landscape. A rumble shook the cave, dust and small rocks raining down on them. Their pursuers had arrived. "We need to move deeper," Zyla said, her antennae twitching nervously. They pressed on through the winding tunnels, the sounds of pursuit growing fainter as they descended into the mountain's heart. After what felt like hours, they emerged into a vast underground cavern. Bioluminescent fungi cast a soft blue glow across the rocky expanse. Ryan's wrist device beeped, detecting a faint energy signature. "There's something here," he muttered, following the signal to a section of seemingly blank wall. As they approached, the rock face shimmered and dissolved, revealing a hidden chamber filled with sleek, alien technology. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing star maps and data streams. "It's a shadow outpost," Pollux breathed, his eyes wide with recognition. Ryan's fingers flew over the alien interface, decrypting files and uncovering the true extent of the shadow's operations. "This is bigger than we imagined," he said, his voice tight. "They're not just manipulating politics, they're orchestrating conflicts, steering technological development, even influencing cultural evolution across the galaxy." A chime from the console caught their attention. A message had been intercepted. Orders for shadow operatives to initiate the next phase of their plan. "We need to get this information to Marcus," Ryan said, quickly downloading the data to his device. "If we can expose the shadow's existence and their manipulations, we might have a chance to unite the galaxy against them." As if on cue, Jack's voice crackled over their comms. "I've secured a long-range transmitter from the shuttle. If you can boost the signal, we might be able to reach the Galactic Union." Ryan's eyes lit up. "This outpost. We can use its systems to amplify the transmission." They worked quickly, Zyla's knowledge of alien tech proving invaluable as they integrated Jack's transmitter with the shadow systems. Ryan's fingers danced over the controls, compressing the vast amount of data into a tight beam transmission. "Ready," he said, his hand hovering over the activation switch. "Once we send this, there's no going back. The shadows will know we've exposed them." Pollux stepped forward, his face set with dedication. "Do it. I've spent too long being their pawn. It's time to make things right." Ryan nodded and activated the transmission. The console hummed to life, a progress bar slowly filling as the data streamed out into the depths of space. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the hidden base. The shadows had detected the unauthorized transmission. "We need to hold this position," Ryan shouted over the noise. "If we can keep the transmission going long enough, Marcus and the Galactic Union will have everything they need to expose the shadows." The team took up defensive positions around the control room. Jack distributed weapons he had scavenged from the shuttle, their unfamiliar weight a reminder of the desperate situation they found themselves in. The first wave of shadow operatives hit hard, their advanced weaponry scorching the walls around them. Ryan and his team fought back with everything they had, their diverse skills and backgrounds coming together in a symphony of coordinated defense. As the battle raged, the transmission inched closer to completion. 60%, 70%, 80%. A lucky shot from a shadow weapon struck the console, sending sparks flying. The transmission wavered, threatening to cut out entirely. "Zyla!" Ryan called out. "Can you stabilize it?" The Arcturian scientist ducked under enemy fire, her nimble fingers working to reroute power and maintain the connection. "I need more time." Ryan gritted his teeth, laying down suppressing fire to give Zyla the seconds she needed. His mind raced with the weight of their mission. Everything they had discovered, everything they had fought for, hinged on this moment. The transmission bar flickered, then resumed its steady climb. 90%, 95%. A massive explosion rocked the chamber, smoke filling the air. Through the haze, Ryan saw a hulking figure emerge, a shadow leader, its form rippling with hardly restrained energy. Time seemed to slow as Ryan locked eyes with the alien entity. In that moment, he saw the weight of eons, the calculated manipulations that had shaped galactic history. But he also saw fear, the fear of exposure, of losing control. The Shadow Leader raised a weapon, energy crackling around its barrel. Ryan dove for cover, his heart pounding in his ears. A chime cut through the chaos. The transmission was complete, 100%. As the Shadow Leader's weapon discharged, Ryan allowed himself a small smile. They had done it. The truth was out there now, racing across the stars to the Galactic Union. Whatever happened next, the game had changed. The energy blast struck, and Ryan's world exploded into blinding light.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.